Welcome back to Everyman Prepping. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Today I want to talk really quick about how the war might expand from Ukraine into Transnistria and maybe Moldova, which would then spread more into other NATO areas. We'll also go at the end of this, we'll go through why some media in Poland and Ukraine are freaking out about a ton of military hardware and equipment in a Polish port. What they think it's going to be used for, then I'll give you my 2 cents of what I think it's for. But as usual, as we go through this, please like the video, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. Appreciate all the support out there and all the help you guys give me in fighting the algorithm by commenting and sharing, and especially hitting that like button. But going on now, we see here that this article out of RT, which I know a lot of people are going to say that's Russian propaganda. True, they do have a Russian slant, but they also give out some good ideas or good articles from their point of view. And, you got to take what both sides are saying and kind of find the truth in the middle. And so I'm going to go from the RT point of view on this. And what they're saying here, the dogs of war. Here's why the Ukrainian conflict could be spread to another European country. And they're talking about Moldova and the breakaway region of Transnistria. And if you don't know what that is, these are some Moldovan troops. As a side note, let's look at this really quick. You can kind of tell a first-rate, top-notch army by how the troops are dressed and how they're presented. And then you can kind of talk, you can see the second tier, third tier by looking here. You can see this gentleman here. He has, some type of flak vest. I don't know if there's actually armor plates in there or not. And look at his goggles, his helmet. The gentleman next to him, kind of helmet to the side, different than the other gentleman's. No goggles, different flak vest. This person has a sidearm, no flak vest. Might want to go on some exercise if he's going to be going to war anytime soon here. Then continue on, a different type helmet, different, I don't know what the heck's going on, this man purse thing here. But as you can see, all dressed differently, not all uniform. So we know we don't have top-of-the-line troops here. Just something to point out in case you're looking at pictures and you want to see, assess what kind of military soldiers are, in that photo of what's going on. But let's look at this. So here we have, what is Transnistria? What is Moldova? So here you see Ukraine, Belarus, Russia. And down here by Romania, you see Moldova. It was a breakaway from the Soviet Union. It was part of the Soviet Union. It broke away after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And it's very EU-friendly. It's not in NATO. Moldova's not in NATO, but it wants to join the EU. And it's very closely tied to Romania. Transnistria is this thin strip of land in red right here, where my cursor is. And it's a pro-Russian. They're mostly Ukrainian and Russians there, highly Russian. They voted to be part of Russia. They asked the Russian Duma to join with them. Very pro-Russian. They broke away after the fall of the Soviet Union from Moldova. They had they did have a little conflict. A war broke out between the two. Thousands died. They kind of had a stalemate. Russian peacekeepers moved in to keep the peace. There's about 1,500 Russian troops there. But as you can see, Ukraine surrounds it, even down here at the bottom, at the Odessa nearby. So Russia can't easily fortify them. So there's 1,500 Russian troops that are kind of cut off. And then we'll go through the article and see where the Ukrainians are real quickly here. So it says here, for the past several weeks, Eastern Europe has been on the verge of a new war. Moldova risks returning to active conflict with the self-proclaimed Republic of Transnistria. And then they're saying that a lot of the Russians are saying, and some other people are saying, that Ukraine would want to invade Transnistria, go into there. And they're saying, well, why would they do that? Why would they launch a military action into Transnistria? Well, there's some benefits that, RT's pointing out. They says, well, it can embarrass Moscow because, like I said, there's only 1,500 peacekeeping troops there, no way to reinforce them. And it would also then, the biggest point, what I think also is, what has been said is, it would give Kiev access to a huge ammo dump. There's a gigantic ammo dump in a facility near Kolbazna, if I'm pronouncing that right. There's 22,000 tons of weapons there. It's one of the largest in all of Europe, and it's only 2 kilometers, little over a mile, a mile and a half, not really, from the Ukrainian border. I mean, you could see from the Ukrainian border this gigantic ammo dump. We know that Ukraine is struggling for ammo. NATO can't keep up supplying them. If they got hold of this, it would supply their war effort for months and months, maybe up to a year, some people say. So the benefit of gathering that under the guise of supporting Moldova, because they are they're allies with Moldova, trying to say we're going to go there and help you with these breakaway Transnistrians, and by the way, we're going to kind of take all this ammo. So that's one theory here. It says the warehouse contains artillery shells, air bombs, mines, grenades, small arms cartridges. Now they're saying that half of it could be out of its shelf life, but if anybody out there, you guys out there know that, for these cartridges, ammo, rifle rounds, pistol rounds, they could be very old and still work. I mean, you can see some YouTube videos where people are firing 10, 20-year-old cartridges, no problem whatsoever. So, could some of the large artillery shells and other things be out of date and not work? Maybe, but I bet a lot of it's still good, even if it's past its quote-unquote shelf life. Anyway, continue on, says, in addition, there's a large amount of old equipment in the warehouse. There might be 100 tanks, personnel carriers, our infantry fighting vehicles, other like Jeep-type vehicles, anti-aircraft stuff, machine guns, all that stuff is there, which, yes, Ukraine could desperately need. So it's a ripe target under the guise of helping Moldova. Down here it says it's enough to equip a modern army group. Ukraine could definitely use that. And then on Russia's concern. On February 23rd, the Russian Ministry of Defense warned the Kiev regime is preparing an armed provocation against Transnistria in the near future. They're going to say it's going to be a false flag. What it says here is going on. It says that they're going to be dressed up as Russians, and they're going to stage an offensive from that territory against Ukraine. Then Ukraine says, well, we're going to have to go in. So Russia's basically saying that Ukraine's going to false flag this under the guise of Russia doing it. In response to that, Ukraine basically is saying, well, we think Russia is going to come through there with their 1,500 troops and flank us from the backside. Anyway, the Russian defense minister also cautioned, it says NATO members and their Ukrainian mentees they warn them against any risky ventures. It says Russian diplomats said that any actions posing a threat to the peacekeepers in Transnistria will be considered an attack on the Russian Federation, according to international law, because those are Russian soldiers there. And then, they're like I said, here's the counter-accusation. It says February 27th, the AFU, which is the Ukrainian army, basically said that the Ukrainian troops are concentrating along the entire border of Transnistria, and their numbers are proportionate to the existing threat. The threat being, they haven't really spelled it out like it says, but the threat is that Russia will come across there. And then Kiev further went on to say the Russians are saying that Ukraine is allegedly going to enter Transnistria. We value the independence of other countries. Basically, as a backhand slap to Russia saying, you invaded us. There's no way we're going to invade them because Transnistria is a part of Moldova. Russia is provoking us to enter the territory of the Republic of Moldova, but Russia itself can invade from the territory of Transnistria. So that's what they're claiming. Although, like it says down here, there's no direct threats from there. So that could be the next boiling point. Ukraine desperately needs the arms. Could they false flag it into saying that Russia attacked them, so they went in, and in the time being they secured it? Yes, they could. Also points out in this article that it's probably heavily mined in there. Would they blow the place before the Ukrainians could get there? They might try, so who knows what would happen. But it is a ripe target. It could spread. Moldova is trying to snuggle up really close to NATO and the EU. As you can see here, they changed their official language to Romanian. And as you can see from this map here, Romania is here. By the way, you got the 101st Airborne right along in here. So you got American troops, Moldova, Russian troops, Ukrainian. There's a lot going on in that little area. Will something happen? It could be something just to keep us watching. But that ammunition is a ripe target. It really is. It would really help NATO in getting more ammunition to Ukraine while they try to spin up their wartime economy to produce more to give to Ukraine, so they basically can keep this proxy war going. So let's take a look at this Polish port situation. We got a ton of U.S. armament, tanks, personnel carriers, anti-aircraft tanks, everything in this port in Poland. It says here an enormous amount of American military equipment being prepared to move from the port of Gdynia in Poland. It belongs to the U.S. Army's 3rd Armored Brigade, 1st Cav Division. As you can see here, there is a ton of stuff in this picture. There's a better picture down here. You can see everything: Humvees, fuel tankers, command and support centers, Bradley fighting vehicles, Abrams tanks. Everything's in this place. Now, all this stuff was there because it was for this Operation Atlantic Resolve, and what the U.S. says, it's in preparation for redeployment to the continental United States after serving there. So they're going to ship it back. And now some Ukrainian and Polish sites are saying that this would be redeployed to Ukraine where Russia continues its special military operation. Neither the White House nor the Pentagon has commented on this. Now, like I said, some Ukrainian and some Polish people, reporters, journalists, news people, whoever they are saying this is going to end up in Ukraine. Yes, it could. But let me show you this. So the balloon here is the port where it is. Here's Poland. Here you got Belarus. And let me zoom out a little bit. And you got Ukraine over here. Whoa, let's come back here. You got Ukraine over here. So let me see if I can get it all on one screen here. So this is the port, the red balloon, Ukraine, Kiev. They're not shipping it there by sea. They're not coming through the Black Sea. I wouldn't get concerned about this. All this stuff here, I really wouldn't get concerned about it going into Kiev immediately until you saw it on rail cars. It would get there by rail. They're not going to put it on boats. So it's out of port right now. If it leaves the port, not by ship, because then it'll be going to the United States, but if it leaves the port and it starts going to rail yards, railheads, starts getting loaded on rail cars, yes, it's probably going to go somewhere in Europe. It might go somewhere on the border of Poland. It might go to Ukraine. But until then, like I said, my 2 cents are that it's probably going to go back to the United States, but they might decide just to keep it there. They might say, oh yeah, this is going back to the United States, and they're just going to station it in this port and just keep it there until they decide, well, they might need it in Europe. So it's just going to be kind of like mothballed right there at this port. Don't know if they need that space, they need to move or not, but it's be very rapidly deployable if it's there and they just keep it there. They can send the troops back, keep the equipment there. It only takes a day or two to fly the troops back and get them over there and load the stuff and get it onto trains and ship it to where they need to. So that's my opinion on that. In the comments below, right, what do you think they're going to do with this equipment? Do you think they'll leave it there? I think they'll send it home. Is it going to go to Kiev? What do you think? Also, what do you think about Transnistria? Do you think Ukraine should go in there and take that ammo? Do you think it'll just spiral us into a deeper World War III? Put in the comments what you think below. Until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.